Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to Fill Up Friday. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to give some folks some time to come on, and we are going to get started. If you are new to Fill Up Fridays, please jump into the comments. Let us know that you are here and let us know where you are listening from. We would love to shout you out. Hey, JY, thank you for joining us tonight. I miss you and I love you. I hope to see you soon. How's everything going? I'm so excited about our topic tonight. So excited about what we are going to be talking about. It's amazing how God just dropped things into our heart to be for ourselves and then to be able to share. Hey Kathy, I'm so glad you could finally join us tonight. I'm excited that you are here. Two of my favorite people just popped up online. I miss you too. We really do have to catch up. I know we always say that, but we really do. The 16th through the 22nd. I'm gonna have to see what I can do about that, JY. I need to see you. Does my sister know you're coming? All right, you guys. So I want to give some people some time to come on, but if you're catching the replay, thank you for catching the replay. If you're going to be watching it later, if you are live with us tonight, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Mrs. J Spire, and I am the host of J Spirations Live and the creator. So tonight you are joining in with us on Fill Up Friday Live. So on Fridays we get together and we talk about what we filled up on during the week. We share some of the things we may have gone through, and we try to ensure that when we leave Jspirations Live Fill Up Friday, that we are no longer empty, but that we are full. We don't want the glass to be half empty. We want the glass to be full, even though I know people look at it so many different ways, but we always want to look at it as full. But we have to be honest. Sometimes we are running on empty. Sometimes we're not sure what we should be doing. Things are coming at us and we're not sure how to respond. So, we get together so that we can encourage each other. And that we can give each other what we didn't get throughout the week. So I'm so excited about what we're going to be talking about tonight. So the first thing I want to do, that we usually start off talk about what we posted this week. I hope that you're following the page. So if you're following the page, you should be seeing the post, the daily affirmations or the original quotes that we're quoting. And we're talking about to try to get us through the day, right? Because sometimes life just happens and things can get really heavy. Also, if you're new here, the folks that come on every Friday, we call them the Fill Up Friday Faithfuls. So if you're not a faithful, we hope that you become a faithful and that you become a faithful soon, because again, we need to be pouring into each other. We need to be planting those positive seeds. Good evening, Lucy. So you guys know we always start off just by looking at some of the posts that we post during the week. And I hope that they are blessing you. I hope that they are encouraging you. So you're going to see me looking up just a little bit. And it's because we are looking up sometimes at the other screen so that we can make sure that we are reading the quotes correctly. Yes, JY, life does happen. But it's so funny that I said that and then you said that, because we're going to be talking about so much of that tonight. So on Saturday, we posted "Speak It and Believe It" Saturday. Oftentimes we ask for things and we don't actually believe it will happen or that we can have it. Today I pray that you desire that what you desire and ask for from the Father, that you believe him for it because he keeps his promises. Hello, Miss Paula. And then we posted on Wednesday because you guys know if God doesn't give me something to post, we don't post just to be posting. Everything is intentional and everything is purposeful. So on Wednesday, we posted Wisdom Wednesday. Treating people the way you want to be treated doesn't always get you the same treatment from them. However, it does produce fruit so you can continue to eat. Why? Because God sees you even when nobody else does. And we're going to break down some of these things tonight as well. And then we had Thursday thoughts. Living your truth is more important than telling your truth, your side of the story. Don't spend time trying to prove anything to anyone. Use that energy to be a better you. And then today, I didn't actually have anything to post, but there's a few people that I follow that posted some profound things today that we're going to talk about. And so Tia Mack posted, he's putting all the pieces together. Trust him. And then today, as I was driving home from work, just reflecting and just trying to empty some of that stuff that I didn't need so that I could have the opportunity to continue to fill up, I was listening to the Willie Moore Jr. show. Shout out to Willie Moore Jr. And he was talking to Bishop Marvin Sapp, and they were talking, and Bishop Sapp said, you can't be anything to anyone until you are everything to yourself. It's not being selfish, it's being self-focused. And when I heard that, it spoke to me. As a matter of fact, when I picked my son up from school, I saw someone that I know, and we started talking, and I shared that with her in the parking lot, and she got excited about it too, because oftentimes, the world will tell us that we're being selfish if we focus on ourselves, but we can't be anything to anybody until we're everything to ourselves. And so that really spoke to me. So it's a couple things. You guys know we come up with like things that we can put on t-shirts, right? On Inspiration Live, I think every single Friday. And so as I was driving and I was reflecting on what Marvin Sapp had said, as I was reflecting on what I had posted all week, what came, it's a couple things that came to me, right? And so we're going to talk about that tonight. So what I wanted to talk about, and it's all going to flow together, but there's a song. Kirk Franklin actually came out with a new song last night, and it's called All Things. And when I started thinking about that song last night. I was listening to him. And then today I went on YouTube and I listened to it. And he was just talking about all things, right? That there's nothing that God can't do, that he can do all things. And last week we talked about moving those mountains. So even in the song, he was talking about those mountains that we encounter, but that God can do all things. And I started thinking about some of those old songs and some of those old things that the old church folks would say when we were growing up. And there was a song, like when I look back over my life, right? And then there's another one, and I just lost it. But just pretty much just like thinking about how God has brought us through, right? Like when I look back over my life, and I started to think about even today, one of my coworkers said, it's Friday. I'm so glad it's Friday. And, I hope I can make it. And I looked at her and I said, it's Friday. You've already made it. So when I started thinking about that, all these things just started coming together. And I started thinking about the song, All Things, right? We are, some of us are older. So we've been doing life for a while. And there's been things that we didn't think that we could make it through. There was times that we just thought we was going to die out here, right? There were times where there was no way that we were going to come through it, but we already made it. And the t-shirt for tonight is over and over again. Why? Because God has proved who he is over and over and over again. And regardless of what happens in our lives, regardless of what we're going through, he just keeps on showing up. Right. And he just keeps on doing it over and over and over again. And because he can do it over and over and over again, and because he does do it over and over again, then that gives us the strength to be able to do it over and over again. It doesn't matter what comes our way, it doesn't matter what we encounter. It doesn't matter what mountain moves its way into us, because God has done it over and over again. We can do it over and over again. He's brought us out of so many things. He's brought us out and over so many different situations. So as we look back over our lives, right, we have proof that he just keeps on doing it. So because he has done it, because he keeps on doing it, we can keep on doing it too. Even those times where I was posting earlier and I was reading the quote about sometimes we're going to do things for people, we're going to treat people a certain way, and we're not going to get it back. That's okay. Right? Just keep on being who God has called you to be. Just keep on doing it over and over again. Sometimes people are going to look at you and say, this person is crazy. They're going to use words like, this person is stupid. They keep doing things for people, or they keep doing things and this keeps happening. They're not getting anything back. But it's because they can't see it. And don't worry about whether or not they see it. The quote this week said, you keep on doing it so that you can produce good fruit, so that you can continue to eat. Because it doesn't matter if nobody else sees it. God sees everything that we do. And when we do it with the genuine heart, and when we do it because we love God and we know that he loves us, that fruit is going to keep coming, and we're going to keep on eating. Right? He's going to keep on blessing us, and he's going to keep on bringing things into our lives and bringing people into our lives that we need. Right? And that's going to be a blessing and beneficial for us. So if God can keep on doing those things for us over and over and over again, right, then we can keep on doing those things over and over again. Because as we keep looking back over our lives, there's so many stories and there's so many testimonies of what we can say that God has done for us. Right now it's showing that it's 6 people on here. I'm not sure how many people are on here, and I'm sure there's some folks on YouTube as well. JY is watching on YouTube. But we're on here, and I bet you if we were to get into a room together face to face and just talk about some of those trials and talk about some of those tribulations that we have gone through, hence the word gone through, that we didn't think that we would be able to go through, that we wouldn't think that we would be able to come out of, and God has done it. Right? And he did it for me, and he did it for you, and then he did it for somebody else, and he did it for you again, because life has been lifing, right? And life has been happening. Right? I know I've been in situations where I'm just like, there is no way I'm getting out of this. Like, this has to be the end. This is the end of it, right? Because I don't see any way out. But God did it. Right? He did it, and he brought me out. And like sometimes even when those things happen that we consider bad, like he brings us out of it. And even when we encounter the next, he brings us out of that too. He just keeps on doing it. The song says he keeps on blessing me over and over and over again. Right? So so that's another t-shirt, over and over and over again. There's no limit to what God can do. There's no limit to how many times that he's going to do it. Right? Most of us, we're fearful of being transparent, and we're fearful about sharing things that has happened in our lives, right, with other people, because we're worried about what people will think about us, and we're worried about being judged. But again, if we were to get in a room together, I bet you that we have had some of those same experiences, and God brought me out, and God brought you out too. So I was just thinking about that all day today. He just keeps on doing it over and over again. And in all things, there is not anything that he cannot do. And he has proven that, not just in the Bible, right? For what we read, what we think is history. No, he's a right now God, right? And he did it yesterday. He did it today. He's going to do it tomorrow. Like, he never changes, right? So we have to realize that we are going to be able to come out of things. And it is hard. When I tell you it's hard, and I know that it is hard, listen, every single day I wake up and I put a smile on my face, not because it's necessarily my smile, but it's his smile and it's his strength. And so I have to be thankful and conscious of where he has brought me from and where I am now, because I could not have done it by myself. And so there are other people who've been in the same situation that I'm in. And guess what? God did it, right? And then he did it again for me. And if you get into that situation, then he's going to do it again for you. And it's because he loves us. And it's because he has all authority and he has all power in his hand. He can do it. We just have to allow him to work in our lives. And we have to trust him and we have to believe him. The quote earlier this week was, when we ask God for something, we have to believe it. We can't just say it and not believe it. And so there's some things that I've asked him for, and in my mind, they seem far fetched. Right? I've talked to some people about it, and I'm like, I believe God is going to do it. And those people look at me strange and they look at me weird, but I believe it, because when you've been in a dark place and he's brought you from so far, listen, you can't help but to believe it, because if people knew your entire story, they wouldn't even begin to understand how you made it out. They wouldn't even begin to understand how you made it through. Right. And so when things, we got to trust him and we have to believe him. And I'm speaking to myself, right? Because every day, transparent moment, I get distraught. Or I say, God, I asked you about doing this, and I don't know. Like, I don't know if it happened. I don't know if it's going to happen. And so I've learned to keep a song in my heart, right? That when I start thinking like that I just start singing, right? Regardless of where I am and regardless of what I'm doing, I just start singing, right? God, you've just been so good to me. God, I thank you for it all, right? Regardless of what it is, because there's a purpose in everything, right? Even in our trauma, even in our hurt, even in our pain, God is able to sustain us. He's able to heal us, and he's able to do it over and over and over again. Over and over. So that's the t-shirt for tonight. Over and over. He's done it before, right? He's doing it right now for somebody, right? And he's going to do it for you as well. Sometimes we have to be in things just a little bit longer, just so he can build our faith. And yeah, it doesn't always feel good, but sometimes we have to be in it so that he can build our faith. Kathy said, and Kathy, I'm not even quite sure what I was talking about when you mentioned that one, that you are so right, and that is such a struggle. And then Lucy said the battle is won and the storm is out in the sea. Okay, say so. That's right. The storm is out in the sea. And then Kathy said, yes, I'm learning this on my trials. Can be used for his purpose. It's all for his purpose, and it's all for his glory. He has to get the glory out of it. He absolutely has to. And when we sing of his praises, and when we give him the glory, he just keeps pouring into us and pouring into us and pouring that strength and that love and that grace and that mercy and that peace. He just keeps pouring it, pouring it into us. My mom was here this week, and my son had soccer practice, and when we got home, I said, boy, you are sweating, like, like you're all wet, like you really worked hard today. And then my mom said, well, what did he have to drink after? And I said, well, Mom, he had water. And she was like, well, no, he needs some Gatorade, or some what is it, the body armor drink. Like he needs something to replenish him, right? He needs something to get those electrolytes back into his body because he was working out and he used it. And so that's the same thing with God. Like, it's all these things that God is pouring into us. He's not pouring it into us just to keep it all for ourselves. He's pouring it into us so that he can build us up, right? And then when he's building us up, we're pouring out and we're trusting him more because he's strengthening us, and the things that he's putting in us, those are his characteristics, right? That he's putting into us. So as he's putting them into us, he's building us and he's strengthening us for us to go out into the world and for us to deposit it into other people, right? And into other things. And as we're depositing into them, he continues to deposit into us. And what? He does it what? Type it in the comments. He does it over and over and over again. And he does it because we're worth it, right? He loves us. We belong to him, and we're worth it to him just to continue to keep doing things for us over and over again, and to be depositing it into us. Right. And then what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to sing of his praises. We're supposed to tell of his miracles. We're supposed to tell of his marvelous works, right? Over and over again. This week, I was talking to somebody and I mentioned something, and they said, you know what? They was like, what church do you go to? And I told them what church I went to. And then the person said, I was wondering if you were, a Christian. Like, I thought it, but I was wondering. And that pricked my spirit so much. I said, you were wondering? And she said, yeah, I was wondering. I was like, wait a minute, you didn't know? Like, you couldn't tell just by being around me? And she was like, I mean, I could, but I didn't want to assume. And that thing pricked my heart so much, because I said, sometimes being in this environment that I'm in, because of how I feel about the environment, sometimes the environment didn't allow it, but I allowed the environment to make me dim my light, right? And I was like, because people that are in my presence, they should know, right? They shouldn't have to assume. They shouldn't have to think. They should just know, right? And I'm like, just because I feel a certain way in a space, I can't allow that space to dim my light, because we're talking all the time. We always say, what? Shine, baby, shine, right? Because we are the light of the world, and we in darkness can't shine in light, but light can shine in darkness. And so I started thinking, man. And so you're probably thinking, like, what does all this have to do with what it has to do with each other? Is that because God keeps doing things for us over and over again, and we don't always dot every I and cross every T, but God keeps doing it for us. So we have to keep doing what we're doing as God's feet, and we're moving on this earth, right? We have to keep doing it even when we don't get back the same thing that we are given, right? Because again, it doesn't matter that what other people, if other people see what we're doing or not, God sees it, and so he's going to keep blessing it. Or it doesn't matter that people don't give us the positivity or the respect or the love that we're giving them, because it's not about that, but God sees it. So it may not be a reciprocal. People may not treat you the way that you treat them, right? When you're treating them a good way, they may treat you mean, or they may not act like they see you, but that's okay, because God sees you. And when God sees you, what? You're producing good fruit, and you can keep eating. You keep eating the fat, right? You just keep eating that fat. And so over and over again. And I know I said it several times, but it's just been in my heart today, just over and over again. God just keeps on doing it. So when you get into situations, and I know it's hard, believe me, I know it's hard. Been there, done that, gonna probably be there again. But don't worry about if you're gonna get out. God's gonna bring you out. He's already brought you out of so many things before. And he's not a God that he forget. He's not the God that he forgets about you, right? You're the apple of his eye. You're always on his mind. He's always thinking about you. You're his baby. I'm his baby. He's always thinking about you. He's always thinking about us. And he brings us out over and over and over again. I hope you guys are writing down our t-shirts, because by the end of the year, we need to have these t-shirts going. So somebody keep me accountable. We need to have these t-shirts going, because God is speaking words all the time. And as we're walking around, those t-shirts become conversation pieces over and over again. What does that mean? Change your language, change your life. Hey, what's that on your t-shirt? What does that mean? Look up. Hey, what does that mean? Those things are conversation pieces, and it gives us the opportunity to speak about the love of God and that he loves us. No, he doesn't love that sin, but he loves us. And so he continues to bless us over and over and over and over again. So I love you guys so much. I'm so thankful and honored that every Friday you jump on YouTube or you come on Facebook and you spend some time with us. And so if you came empty tonight, I hope that when you're leaving that you are full. And make sure that you are depositing into other people. There are people who are walking around, they are empty, they are masking, they are trying their best to keep it together, to hold it together, but they are empty. And so we want to be able to get in environments and be around people that we can stay full, so that we can begin to, to pour in and to deposit in other people. That's right, JY. God is always thinking about us. He's always thinking about us. We have friends, we have family that love us, right? But we all know that there's times in the middle of the night, in the wee hours of the night, where we can't call anybody on the telephone. But when we wake up in the middle of the night and we call on the name of Jesus, because he's always thinking about us, he's right there. He's right there. He's just waiting for us. And I'm so thankful for that. So I love you guys. I want you to enjoy the rest of your night, and I want you to enjoy your weekend. We always talk about self-care. Do something that's going to fill you up, and do something that's going to make you feel good. Bishop Marvin Sapp said today that sometimes when we think about self-care, we think about getting our hair done. We think about getting our nails done, getting our feet done. And yeah, those are forms of self-care. But he also said to make sure that you are taking care of your emotional self and your mental self, and making sure that that you're healthy. And so that's the thing, we always look good, right? Our hair is done, our nails are done, we have on nice clothes, but underneath those things, a lot of us are hurting and a lot of us are going through. And so we don't want to just make that physical and that outside look good. We want to look good and feel good on the inside too. We want our hearts to be healthy. We want our emotions and our thoughts to be healthy as well. We want to walk in freedom. We're always walking around talking about I'm walking in freedom. I've done it too. I've said it. I'm free. No, we are not. And the reason that we aren't free is because we're masking, and we're saying that we're free because it looks good. But let's not worry about what things look like, right? Because we know that God is looking at the heart, and he wants our heart to be healthy. He wants our mind to be healthy. You can wear the same clothes over and over and over again every single day, and if that heart is healthy and that mind is healthy, you're going to be shining and looking good anyway, baby. So don't worry about that outside. Yes, we want to look good physically, but I want us to really start to focus on the inside. And my mom was here with me this week, and so that's why I was able to be so full, right? Because God is always thinking about us, but he gave me my mother too, and my mother is always thinking about me. And because she was here over the last week, she took so many things off of me that I'm usually doing, right? Even though I want her to relax when she's here, but she comes to help me because I'm always on her mind and she's always thinking about me. So she was here this week. She was washing clothes, she was cooking, she was cleaning. I went to bed early almost every day. I got some good sleep and I felt good. And it's because it feels good when somebody's looking after you, right? And so God's looking after us too. So allow him to look after you. I told my mom a lot, oh, mom, lay down. Don't do this and don't do that. But when she left, I missed her, right? Because her presence was so powerful and it was important. Why? Because she was looking after me. Now, y'all know me and y'all know my mama. She was driving me crazy, but she was looking after me. And it's because she's always thinking about me, right? And she wants the best for me, and she has the heart of God, and so God wants the best for me too, and that's why he gave me my mother, right? He gave me this particular mother, right? Because she has his heart, right? And they're always thinking about me and they're always looking after me. So I'm full this week, right? And it's because I filled up on my mama's love. I filled up on some rest. I filled up on just realizing and understanding and reflecting that God has been protecting me the entire time, right? Sometimes we're going through things, we won't even know we're going through it because God is just protecting us, right? He's keeping us from danger seen and unseen all the time. We're always on his mind. And there's a song, and it's an R&B song, right? But we can sing it about people anytime we want to. But that lyric, you're always on my mind. And that is what God is saying to us. We're always on his mind. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go for real now. I love you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will see you guys next Friday. Be sure to like the page, follow the page, share the page. Don't keep all this J-spiration to yourself. And listen, you guys know what we say. Enjoy your night, and as always, be J-spired. Oh, wait a minute before we go. Hold on. We have a first timer. Deborah Coppage Breland. She said, this is my first time to join. I certainly have been encouraged. This just gave me a new direction in my spirit to bless someone. I thank you and all for sharing. Ready for my assignment, God. Have a wonderful Field Friday. Deborah, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope that you'll come back next Friday and that you will be a Fill Up Friday faithful. We would love to have you. Thank you so much for following Jspirations. And thank you so much for supporting. Kathy Yop, I said it earlier, but I'll say it again. It was Kathy's first time on Fill Up Friday as well. So Kathy, you know I love you and thank you so much for coming on tonight. I hope you guys were blessed. My Fill Up Friday faithfuls are on here, Amber and JY and Lucy, and I'm not sure who else I see on here. I'm not sure everybody that's watching. Paula's on here. That's my ride or die. So listen, you guys, we are we do have an assignment. Deborah said it, like, we do have an assignment. God has given us an assignment, and some of us are not on assignment because we're being disobedient. But I promise you, if you start walking in obedience, listen, your assignment, you're going to get your assignment, but God's going to continue to keep depositing and blessing. Listen, I'm telling you, I have walked in disobedience for a really long time. And when I started to open my heart and open my mind and say, you know what, God, I'll trust you. I'm just going to do it. I'm telling you, I promise, when you start doing what God has given you to do, he is going to bless it. It's not going to look like everybody else's. It's not going to look like what other people think it should look like. It's going to look like exactly what God has given you. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be purposeful. It's going to be intentional. It's going to be life-changing, not just for you, but for everybody that you come in contact with, everybody that's connected to you. And people are going to say, she's doing all of this, but I don't see this happening. Don't worry about what it looks like now. God told me earlier this year that I have been worrying about a boat, right? I've been trying to float on a boat or fit onto a boat, but the boat is too small for me. God is going to give me a ship, right? And so don't worry about what it looks like. Don't worry. Don't start thinking about, oh my God, there's no way this is going to happen. You just wait for your ship, right? Because the boat is too small for you. Change your language, change your life, change the way that you're speaking and the way that you're thinking. It's going to change your life. What God has for you, nobody can stop it regardless. Nobody can stop it. Nobody's yes can make it happen, and nobody's no can stop it from happening. God's yes and his no, those are the only two that matters, because he'll say no to something that's too small for you. He'll say no to something that's not for you. He'll say no to something that's detrimental to you, even though you want it so bad. But when he says that yes, please believe it's going to be powerful, intentional, and it's going to be the vision that he gives you. It's going to be something like you've never seen before. Even when we start in these little bitty rooms in our homes, right? In our offices doing podcasts, don't despise those small beginnings. God is awesome. And he's going to keep doing it for you over and over and over again. I love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. And as always, be J Spired.